Welcome back, guys. Welcome to this week's lesson on teens. And today we have a mother and a teenager. For once we have a teenager, an actual teenager. Welcome, Cookie.
Thank you very much.
And welcome back, Reverend. Umekuwa regular, hakuna welcome back tena.
I know.
And today we're going to talk about stress. Something that we go through and sometimes you think is too big or is too small. And just to ask, Cookie, as our resident teenager,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What stresses you out?
Okay, it's not what stresses me out.
We've sampled. You are a spokesperson.
We've done a survey of, yes, and common knowledge. Mm-hmm. And we've come up with the things that stress teenagers. Mm-hmm. So the most common one was people are scared of the future. Mm-hmm. Like, we're teenagers, most of us starting campus or in campus, not sure where life is taking us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just
the uncertainty of,
so scary.
What's going to come from, what course are you going to do,
Hey.
What uni are you going to go, and the uni you're going to go, will you get a job, will you get a family, will you get a good husband, will your marriage be good, will you get money? Imagine people are thinking about that at 15, 17, 18.
I know, earth-shaking issues.
We are wise. We may look, but we are wise.
What else is it that stresses guys out?
People are stressed about exams and school. Like most people who are in high school, like you have cats and rats and big exams. Most people are scared about that. Like you get so stressed because you want to make your parents proud or just,
Yeah, you're also stressed because your parents have such high expectations of you, and you're stressed that will I meet them? And if you don't meet them, you feel like you'll be a failure. Hata ukipata A-, lakini mzazi alikuwa anataka A, una feel I have failed you. And what do you have to say about that, JT?
By the way, stress is natural. There is 3 kinds of stress. The first is called eustress. Eustress is good stress. Stress that makes you go into action. Like the fact that as young people you're stressed about exams, it makes you study. Because if there were no exams, you wouldn't stress and you wouldn't study. So this eustress it's real stress, but then at least it's pushing you to do something. It's that thinking feeling you have when you have an assignment, you haven't had it, all that. That is good stress because it helps you to swing into action. Then there is what we call neutral stress. Like when there's earthquake in who knows where, it's far away from you, but it's a stressful situation. Right now, even with Corona, we keep hearing it far away. So it's sort of stressful, but yet it's not personal. It's just there. It's there. Meh. And then there is distress. Distress is the kind that makes you sick, the kind that can lead to diseases, that can also even lead to suicide sometimes. That's a bad one. And often we talk about the really bad one. And I think what you mean is, how can I handle the different levels? Because we don't discount the stress that you go through, however small. It still affects you. You still feel low and what. It's just a different levels, and how do I handle the different levels? And some of the things that you have said fall into these different categories. There are those that are really bad, where you feel like you're hopeless and you're overwhelmed. But then there are those that you feel, like even deciding what to wear. You're teenagers. It can be stressful.
Purple or blue.
I know it can be stressful, and so it's how do we handle the different levels of stress, and how do you? Let me ask you guys, how do you handle whatever stresses are in your life?
Well, it depends. When it's like choosing what to wear, it's quite easy. It's just gani enuki jasho.
For boys.
There's always the smell test still. 2 more days are left in this.
Yeah.
And then gosh. And then now there's some stresses, especially when you feel helpless and you can't do anything about it. Let's say, for example, family issues, and your family is breaking apart. There's nothing to do. Personally, one thing I used to do when I felt like aki hakuna kitu naweza fanya, mimi ningelala tu. Like you just sleep and you escape to sleep. And then in your dreams, the problem is solved, and then there is peace in the world.
Then you wake up.
And then you wake up, and then you can't wait to go back to sleep. Sound familiar? Cookie, which one?
No, I was to say, sometimes, I'd see people in school, okay, I wasn't going through it, but I've heard of people, like they're going through family issues and they're in school, and then you try and talk to someone and then they tell you, ati, no, you just focus on your studies, achana na mambo yao. Yeah, we try to, you want to do that, you want to pretend like nothing is happening and study, but you see, it's something that affects us too, like family issues affect us too. So like, you since you ask for help and someone tells you, you just focus on, you look for other ways to relieve that stress, which is usually really bad. And then also, sometimes, we're dealing with, sasa kama what to wear. Okay, so then you're not stressed, but let's say how people think of us. Like, we have stress about that, but we feel like if we talk to an adult and tell them, Mom, kwanza me, my mother, not simtaji, my mother far away, I'd go to her with, my little issues, and then she'd laugh and be like, hiyo siasa yako. Like,
Siasa.
Like, it may look like a big issue, but you see, we have those two small issues, but we feel like if I tell my mom, I'm just wasting her time because she has bigger issues. So
actually, on that point, even before we go to dealing with stress, there are people who feel like what they're going through is either too little, and so una feel kama nikiambia Kuki shida zangu, ataniambia wewe wacha hizo. Maana nakwambia msee shida, wacha shida yako. Wacha sana nikwambie yangu. So you live there, you don't feel like your problem is solved, you just feel like, what was the point of talking to that person? And then there are people who get to that point where they say, then what's the point? And then I think the other one has evaporated. Let's
you feel like if you tell someone, they won't understand.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
How do I tell my mother that I was heartbroken and I'm in Form 1 and she started dating in campus? Like, I feel like she's just going to be like, where's Soma?
It's like when you're praying to God for it not to rain so that you can hang out with your friends, and then there's war in Syria.
In Syria.
You're like, God, you're going to answer, this
In
one
my
of not
small
raining,
brain.
or are you dealing with people who are suffering? And that's a natural feeling. We tend to belittle our problems, and yet it is a real problem. So no matter what the problem is, for you at that point, as an adult, sometimes I deal with people with problems. And even just listening to their problems, I think of mine and I'm saying, okay, mine is silly. So it's not just you. Even as adults, there are times that somebody will tell you their story and you'll be like, oh my goodness, and I was stressing over boy, I cannot even mention what I was stressing over. So it's a natural thing. And yet, you need to recognize that whatever problem it is that's bothering you is valid. It's valid. Because even for a child that is crying, needing something, as a teenager, you will look at that as they're being stupid because you've already transitioned from that. Everybody has stress at their different levels. Even a newborn baby will cry when something is wrong. It's just that they won't tell you what it is. So as a parent, as a mother, I'm left wondering, okay, is she hot? Is she hungry? Is she wet? Is she? But that's the crying is a sign of stress. So for babies, as you grow, if your face breaks out, okay, there are times it will break out, but when you're stressed, your skin will show. You'll have constipation. You will
It's normal.
or the opposite.
For some people, it's normal.
Okay, for some people, they just need to eat cabbage.
Yes.
But sometimes, your stomach just is upset. You cannot sleep. Insomnia, you just wake up in the middle of the night, and you can't sleep. or the opposite, you are sleeping too much. All those are signs of stress. When we look at Elijah in the Bible, in 1 Kings chapter 19, the whole story of Elijah, he had worked for God, and he had prayed, it had rained, he had run faster than a chariot. And he was expecting God to say, well done, good and faithful servant, now relax and go on holiday. No. Jezebel chases him all over the place, and he's stressed. And he gets to a point where he tells God, I have had it. Just kill me. You know, he's actually depressed. He tells God, just I'm no better than my relatives, and his people were bad. And he feels like I'm no better than these people. Yeah, I'm all this that I have done for God. He says, I have spent myself for God to no avail. Like God has not seen how hard I've worked for him. And he's stressed. And then he goes into, and you see, when you're stressed, and it's not just a teenage thing, when you're stressed, you retreat. You go away from people, and you want to be alone. You don't want anybody to talk to you. And so Elijah was like that. He went away, and he, you know, the loneliness even just aggravated the situation, because he felt like he could talk to no one. He was yelling, and you know, at that time God had not really appeared to him, so he's yelling into the air, and he's wondering, does anybody care? and God, he also loses perspective of things. When you're stressed, you tend to lose perspective of things. He says, God, I am the only one left who has not bowed to Baal. God says, Dogo, there are 7,000 others, so just you.
Yeah.
And when when you're in that problem, you feel as if it's so big. Right now, you're worried about campus, and it's consuming you, and you're thinking of nothing else. Maybe your parents are having issues, and that's all that consumes your life. And you think, how can I do other things when I have this thing? And it distorts your view of things. You start to think that things are worse than they really are. And that's why when somebody goes and says, yeah, they should tabu yako, you actually feel like, no, you do not understand.
You're not getting
Let me say it again.
Should I use proper English? Then actually, on that, there is this thing, because I know you're now going to go into how Elijah dealt with the stress. There are things that we've been told that, even me, I've had them, that, you know, drink your sorrows away. And not milk or Fanta. No. Alcohol suits the heart.
Yeah.
You know, kuvuta kitu na sio kamba. Weed is good for, you know, it helps you forget.
It clears the head.
Actually, that's what, it gives you a clear mind. What else have you had, Cookie?
About drugs, about
Anything about how
Uh,
people deal with stress.
Well, before I talk about
Yeah.
dealing with stress, we also have fitting in and
Oh,
friends. What you know,
yeah.
if like, you know, it's easy to tell us, you know, just choose your friends wisely. We should have a board in our school written, and in choose your friends, don't let them choose you.
Sounds wise,
Yeah, but you're like,
But if you're all
don't
choosing,
choose
but you're all choosing.
But no,
Yeah.
you see, like right now, we're trying to choose friends. We're trying to, you know, we're trying to follow everything that you're telling us. And as much as fitting in doesn't look like a big thing, you know, you can just be like, just go for friends who lead you the right way. But you have friends who are there for you, even though they may lead you astray. They're there for you, and you know, you want to feel everyone, like most people who are sending what their stresses were saying, they're just trying to fit in. They're trying to be like other people, and they're scared about now going into campus, for example, and then you're at a place where, you know, no one knows you. No one knows where you're coming from. I know most people are stressed because they're like, what will I do then? Like, I'm there.
That freedom is just, and then
Yeah, people are stressed about that.
yeah, you know, one of the things you want when you're a young person is freedom. Then it's given to you, and you're like, oh my goodness,
What
all
do I
do
all
with
this
all
open
of this?
space.
Yeah.
What do I do? And it's terrifying, because for a long time we have like shown you what to do. Then suddenly we are like, okay, deep end, swim.
Siniaibishe.
That's all we say. And trying to cope with that it's stressful. It's stressful. And as you know, prepare to go to campus, those are things that you're going to worry about. Those are natural things. Like, I mean, I know sometimes like parents, we look like we got it. Like when I'm about to preach, you know, people assume because I've been doing it for such a long time, I just shoop and get up. I still have butterflies in the pit of my stomach. The only good thing is I just let them die of exhaustion. They fly in there until they're like, okay, we give up. It's natural to have that. And there are certain personalities that will stress more. If you're a perfectionist, we call them type A personalities.
It's okay.
It's okay. Thank
Don't
you.
judge
It's okay.
Thank
It's
you.
okay.
Thank you. The type A personalities are people who, you know, you want everything to line up. You want to know the future. But if we all knew the future, then God is not necessary. God is not necessary. So you have to be able to trust and go through the process and know that, you know, God has everything in control. Joseph, when he was thrown into the pit, he was sold, he went into Potiphar's house. Every time he thought, now I have a break.
Yeah.
No,
Nope.
it just gets worse. He thinks that, now I have a break. Sometimes God is preparing you for something bigger, and some of the things that you have to go through are so that you're able to be of help to other people or to serve God's purposes. The only problem is, you know, I always say, I wish God would write on the sky, this is your life. In anakutumia, you know, preview.
Turn left direction.
No, anakutumia tu preview ile unajua.
Preview.
Uko mbele kuna Ivana. Tuende.
So, and you always hope that God will show you that it will be okay in the end. But the truth is, in this life, nothing is certain. It's just to trust God and to keep going, to keep moving, to keep doing what you're doing. When you get to campus, I know, I mean, there have been times when I've gone, let me first tell you the first time I flew. I had a scholarship and I was flying alone, and I was a sheltered child, I had never taken a matatu from Kericho to even Nakuru. And here I am getting
Hey,
it.
wow.
Okay, my child
Kumbe
is
it's
much like
passed
that.
down.
It's in the genes.
Sisi on
The
the
gym.
other hand.
So I had never gone anywhere. And I had never even used an escalator. Please, I was from the village.
Oh yeah, you're from
and,
Kericho.
and everything was terrifying. And actually, at the beginning, I even cried. My parents cried. We are criers.
You're criers.
Yes, we are.
Evidently.
But I prayed. I said, God, please provide people. And so when I got to the plane, I sat down. I had never even used a seat belt. Yeah, Gary. You know, my father had a Suzuki where we sat on
it
a
was
bench.
a bench. I remember
There
those
was
ones.
no seat belt, so I didn't even know what to do with the
seat
the
belt.
seat belt. I didn't know anything. But when I got into the place, somebody looked at me and said, "Are you Joyce?" I'm like, "Yeah."
What?
We were in Kenya High together. She showed me what to do. I mean, there were people everywhere that God placed to take care of us. So the assurance that we have is that God knows. He says that I will send an angel ahead of you to prepare you for the place where you're supposed to go. So just believe that God has that already in place, and He's going to lead you to the place where you're supposed to be. It's not easy, but it's to know that, yes, I'm going to campus. It's scary, but the same way you made friends in Form 1, I assure you that you will make friends in campus. I know you wish you could go with your crowd all the way until you marry your crowd, but no, you will keep losing some friends, gaining friends, so just keep going. Now let's get back to Elijah. 2 coping ways. There's the bad ones that you have mentioned, sleeping too much.
There are many more.
There are many.
Kwanza, I think sometimes you know that someone can tell you the right thing. Like Najwa, if I tell Nathan, this is what I'm stressed about, ataniambia, I know you just do this. But Najwa, sometimes we actually look for people who will tell us,
What we want to
wait, imagine, do hivi. Like what you want to hear. Sometimes we look for those people when we are stressed. We look for those people who, hype us to do the wrong thing. And we done for drinking. Like some people told me when we were doing the survey, that sometimes they feel like the only way that they can get that stress out is by drinking or doing drugs. And I find that very scary, because if you're stressed about this today and you drink now, and then when the stress gets bigger,
You drink more.
You drink more.
You
And
drown
then
it deeper.
yeah, what we have a piece of paper. Yeah, people said they act out, they get, mad at the world. Like there's this song called Broken Prayers, and the singer says, you're not afraid of everything I feel, so why am I afraid of being real? Like that really spoke to me, because I'm like, if sometimes we get mad at God, and then like you hold it in because you don't, like, how do you tell God
Like
I'm
he'll
mad at
strike
you?
you.
Like
Oh no, but look at Elijah. He tells God, I have had it.
Sioni
Heal
chape
me.
basi.
And those are, coping mechanisms. They are the positive ones and the negative ones. And the negative ones, drinking, taking drugs, is that the problem is with that, tomorrow now you will have an added problem of, an added stress of, now why did I drink? Why did I do this? So you have that problem plus these other problems. So you drink more to try and drown it, and it only keeps getting worse. It only keeps getting worse. Your friends are telling you this. Just calm yourself down and listen. And then God speaks to him. And when God speaks to him, God assures him that, you're not alone. I got this. And he gives him another person to help him. He gives him Elisha to become an assistant to him. And when you're going through this, you need to find somebody else that will help you deal with whatever problem. We need companionship. That's why don't retreat. A lot of times you're retreating from your parents, you're retreating from people that could help you. Seek out those people. And there are times when the stress is too much, you may actually need to seek out a professional, a counselor that can help you debrief. But simple things like sing at the top of your voice. Me, when I'm stressed, I crank up my radio, and then I sing loudly. And then sometimes I cry.
Oh.
Yani like, see,
Your family.
see,
You weep. You
everybody,
wail.
you wail, you weep, and then later you're making sure that nobody's seeing you, but it feels, sometimes scream into a pillow, or go in deep into the forest and scream, and hopefully nobody will run and try and rescue you, because all those things sort of help you deal with whatever you're going through. But no, like, I know this is so cliche, and you said it's annoying. That Solomon said, what is has been.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun. Your problem may seem wisdom.
Yes.
Your problem may seem insurmountable, but again, when that person tells you, there are times when I've actually felt like, the world is ending, and then I listen to somebody else's world, and I'm like, theirs will end before mine, and it's sort of, and I go into help mode. Helping somebody else also relieves you of some of that stress. So you will arrive, look for that starry-eyed, terrified first year, and go and help that one, because your eyes are slightly smaller than theirs, and you're by helping somebody, you also tend to relieve the stress, because those other coping mechanisms like drinking, smoking, premarital sex, they then tend to lead you to guilt and other things that make your problem only worse.
And what do you think about lashing out on social media? Like, you see many people, like, unaweza jua mtu ameachwa juu status ndio hapo.
I can live without you.
I got this. Men are trash. Men are men are all.
Even women are.
Women are. I can do this. Like many people, when they have that stress, instead of going to people, they decide to
go social media. The problem with social media, like they say, the internet never forgets. You have to be careful. Like even if your boss annoys you, or your teacher annoys you, you can say big things, and then the problem is, tomorrow is gone, and you're like, you have cow dung in your face. I always say for social media, write it down by all means.
On a book or on...
Even type it out and let it sit there for 2 days. Read it again. You might not send it. If you still feel convicted after 3 days of reading it 50 times, then hit send. But remember that with social media, it can be used by anybody. it can be used by anybody. That if you vent, one day when I'm looking for an employee, I'm going to look at your social media history, and I'm going to see you're a venter. I'm going to say, this one, if she has a small problem in the office, tutaanikwa. I will not hire you because of something that you have done. So you need to be careful. Even in your anger, be careful what you do. And even in your stress, you might drink and then remove your clothes. And nowadays people just take pictures of you.
Yeah.
For you at that time, you're thinking, yeah, now I feel good. But then one day, you're married to the bishop of the church, and somebody just removes that thing. And now you have other stress. So make sure that in your dealings with your stress, it's not something that will harm your life or harm the life of those that are around you. So ask God to help you. Ask God to help you. But do those small things I've said, walk around, take a break, sleep, listen to music, cry. Those things sort of just release the stress. And then recognize that even as young people, all these anxieties you have are normal. They are normal. Going to campus is scary. Right now, Form 4s, you're wondering, okay, are we going to repeat next year? Oh my goodness, I could have been a year ahead. Look at the big picture. The whole world is 1 year behind.
The whole world is repeating.
So it's not like you will miss a job. I know it's annoying, but it's not like...
We had plans.
I know you had plans.
By 23, I'm married. By 27,
with one
fourth
child.
born, or third born. By 30, we're done with children, we're raising them. Then now, there's a whole year.
Life happens. Life happens. And because life happens, cut yourself some slack. Don't be... And this is what we are trying to teach your parents, to also cut you some slack. But cut yourself slack. If you do not get the A, A minus is not bad. And I always say, and as I told my resident expert, I said, right now, I've been working for how many years?
Many years.
20-some, don't calculate my age. 20-some. And nobody has asked me my KCPE results or KCSE. Nobody. In the big picture, we stress over things that one day will really not matter. And I know right now, when you're going through it, it's all that you can think about it. But the truth is, it's not. It's not. So don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Somebody said, I'd rather tell everybody and leave than keep it to yourself and die of heart attack and die of ulcers and die of an aneurysm, those things. Just write a song or something.
Be ready to hear the truth.
Yeah, sometimes be ready to hear the truth. Sometimes we're afraid to hear. That's why we look for people who tell us what we want to hear.
Yeah.
You're going through something that's hard. There is a solution, but
you don't want the solution at that time.
I don't want the solution now. I want it later on. So
I know even me, there are times when I go to... I'm always telling Pastor Lily my issues, my problems, whatever it is. And I go and I say, I don't want you to tell me the right thing.
I just want you to listen.
Sit and listen. Then tomorrow you can tell me, okay, yesterday you were being stupid, but today allow me to be stupid. So you can tell that to your friend, like, do not offer a solution right now. Just listen. And then tomorrow when they tell you, you are being stupid, you've healed a bit to be able to hear that wise reasoning.
So stress happens. It's not like sometimes you feel like you're the only stressed person on the earth. Stress happens, and it's how we deal with it that actually determines the future and what it results in. So thank you, JT.
You're welcome.
For all those many wise words. Thank you, Cookie, for your input.
Thank you.
At least Leo Missy spokesperson. Yes. So just to clarify, those were other teenagers' views, not Cookie's views. Ama namna gani?
Well, we share views, but...
Yeah, so JT, pray for us as we close, and then we'll go into shoutouts.
Okay. Father, we bless you. We thank you that you say in your word that your burden is light, that we should lay our burdens at your feet. And Lord, you know the concerns that these young people have. We may have touched on some we may have not touched on, but I want to pray that would you walk with them, would you assure them that you are the rock, that you are a shield round about them, that they don't have to worry, that Lord, you are the one that is in control of everything. And when things go wrong, we can only look to you because you're a faithful Father. I pray that would you provide a friend for each one of them to be able to confide in, to be able to talk so that they do not feel that they are alone in this world. We always know that there is somebody there for us. And like the story at the pool of Bethesda, sometimes we may feel that other people's problems get solved before ours. But Lord, you are the one who comes and says, do not worry, I am here. And we know that you're here for them. So watch over our young people and keep them. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Amen. So time for shout-outs. Cookie, who do you shout out?
Triza Aduda and Gladys.
And Gladys. JT, who do you shout out?
So I'm going to say, hi, Rebecca. I have to look at the list. Hi, Charlene. Hi, Salome. And Crispin, my boy. Yeah, just because I forgot your name last week, you did not say anything this week.
Yeah, and for me, shout out to Brian. If you want us to shout you out, if you have a comment, if you have a question, please write on the comments down here. Na lazima tutakusalimu. So until next
Did
week.
we say Lulu?
We said Lulu.
No, we didn't say Lulu.
Lulu.
And Salome.
Lulu and Salome. Forgive us. We will not forget you next time. So have a good week. See you next week. Same time, different clothes.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Bye.